This is the review video for the Stearns chapters 13 through 16 test review. Fifth period, you'll take the test on Tuesday, January 31st, while second period will take the test on Wednesday, February the 1st. So those are the dates for the test. Let's take a look at the review sheet. Question number 1 is talking about the Tang and their expansion. You need to know that the Tang was the first dominant Chinese empire since the Han. They expanded east into Korea, south into Vietnam, and west into Central Asia. Question number 2, bureaucracy in the Tang. Earning positions in the government was supposed to be solely dependent on how well you did on the Confucianist exams. While that was technically true, that bureaucratic exams were not hereditary, but personal contacts could help you win positions in the government. Number 3, the Jin. Remember the story? The Jin were a group of nomadic herders that lived in the northern to the northeastern part of China. They were hired by the Song to help defeat the Lao. And once they were successful, once they defeated the Lao, they then turned their attention to attacking the Song, and they took over the majority of the Song, pushing the Song further to the south, setting up, the Jurchen set up their own empire, the Jin, and then Southern Song was created after that because the Song lost the majority of their land. Number 4 is about foot binding. This was an awful practice. It affected all classes of women. It didn't matter what your socioeconomic status was. However, it really hurts lower class people economically because these lower class women were really more being dependent on more for making contributions to the family financially, working and things like that, than upper class women were. This horrific practice was used to gain favorable marriages. Number 5, artistic expression in the Tang and the Song. The main focus was on nature, and government officials are going to be the ones that are going to have the most time to really dedicate towards artistic expression. Question number 6, the Taka reforms were Japan's attempt to adopt Chinese practices, and it was resisted primarily by Japanese nobles. Question number 7, Japanese feudalism. Samurais were basically private troops. During the time of Japanese feudalism, bushi and shoguns are going to gain power at the expense of the Japanese emperors, and in feudalism, the power is decentralized. An overview, question number 8, an overview of Shintoism in Japan. Shinto was the state religion in Japan. They had belief in kami gods, spelled K-A-M-I, and it absorbs elements of Buddhism also. Number 9, whose support did Silla have that allowed them to be dominant over other Korean kingdoms? They had China's support. Question number 10 is about Vietnam's adoption of Chinese culture. And how is that similar to Japan's adoption of Chinese culture? Scroll down here just so we can see all the questions in case you've misplaced your review sheet, and you can still see the questions here. It was adopted selectively, like how the Japanese nobles resisted, some Vietnamese resisted the process of sinification. Not everybody was for it. An example in Vietnam would be the Trung sisters. And the Confucianist exams never really took root in Vietnam, so they never had a strong scholar gentry class there. Question number 11 is about the different elite groups. In Japan and Mesoamerica, it's all about warriors being the most elite. Europe, merchants are going to rise to become seen as some of the most elite people. In China, it's the scholar gentry, and in India, it's going to be the Brahmin. When you look at the Mongolians' greatest accomplishments, mobility was one of the biggest accomplishments because of their use of ponies. Their military was 100% cavalry, and the fact that they borrowed heavily from peoples that they conquered. There's more than that, but those are just a couple. Question number 13, the arguably the most important result in Mongolian domination. I would use the word globalization here, connecting the East and the West. We see a big revitalization of the trade on the Silk Road going on, and that's because the Mongolians were doing a superb job of protecting the trade routes. Question number 14. So Kublai Khan takes over China. The Golden Horde is primarily situated in Russia, and the Il Khan is the Middle Eastern section of the Mongolian Empire. 15. Most likely the expansion for Zheng He's voyages is that it was a personal project of the Ming Emperor Yongle, spelled Yongle. It's most likely the reason that they took place. 16. Africa, we see a big change in the population because of the slave trade. In the Americas, it's declining because of disease. 17. 1 to 2/3 of Europe's population was killed, and most people believe that it was persecution from God. 18. Describe artistic realism during the Renaissance. This is the process of moving from religious focus to natural focus. And then geographically, where did the Europeans focus their attention starting in the 1400s? The Atlantic Ocean. For the short answers that you're going to have to do, you should familiarize yourselves. Again, you've already written an essay about this, so refamiliarize yourself, for lack of a better term, with Japanese and European feudalism. And then also make sure that you're familiar with the political and social systems of Western Europe between the years 600 to 1450 CE. Good luck on your test, everybody.